Carsten, let's start with this this asset quality piece from the ECB this morning. What is the SPD, who seem, on the face of it, a little bit more open-minded than the CDU, what are they going to say about this?
I think they're fine with it, but their main message is really that there can be a Eurozone bank resolution mechanism, but it should not involve public German money. That is the whole thing. If it is a fund, if it is a mechanism funded exclusively by the financial sector, then the SPD is fine with it.
You tell me, am I right in saying they're a little bit more open-minded? We're going to get a little bit more of an open-minded Germany with the SPD in there?
No, I think we do. I think that the SPD might be the party actually, or the factor actually pushing Merkel towards more Europe, towards more Eurozone integration. Because if you at least read their election manifestos, they have been even arguing for a debt redemption fund. They know that the word common Eurozone bonds is kind of committing political suicide in Germany, so they dropped that one. But I think they are really much more open for more Eurozone integration.
They did actually float, but as you mentioned, they've backed down on the euro bonds, but they did actually float with that idea, which says a lot about them, right?
Exactly, they did. I think they also say, okay, eventually you need to think about a kind of burden sharing and a kind of financial burden sharing if you really want to have a sustainable monetary union.
European Parliament President Martin Schulz, chief negotiator for the SPD, Wolfgang Schäuble, the Finmin for the CDU. What are they going to be arguing about most, do you think?
I think that there are two main issues in domestic German politics right now. One is the debate about the minimum wage. I think we're going to get it because the SPD clearly said this is a must-have, otherwise we will not sign a coalition contract. And the second thing is about more domestic investment. We all know that there is a lack of investment in infrastructure, in education, in innovation in Germany. And there are more and more calls now to use some kind of fiscal room for maneuver to enhance domestic investment. And this is what they're talking about. Mr. Schäuble will be sitting there saying, okay, we do not want to have higher deficits. We should use the room that there is. And the question is whether the SPD still wants to see some fiscal deficits in Germany.
Who's going to be the finance minister? And is it awkward that Schäuble is leading the negotiations on the part of the CDU?
No, I don't think that's awkward. I think, of course, he is really the let's say the eminence grise in this German government. I think he's the one who really has the 100% confidence from Mrs. Merkel. So obviously he is leading these talks. Will he also be the next finance minister? I think that's what he's wishing for. But we've also heard rumors that the SPD actually is demanding the position of finance minister, which would bring other people, like, for example, Mr. Asmussen from the ECB back in the picture.
You think there's a chance Asmussen will get the job?
I think there is a decent chance because he worked well together with Mrs. Merkel already when he was secretary in the ministry. He has the right party book, which is from the SPD, so I think there is a decent chance, yes.
And when, just to finish up with, when are we going to have a coalition in place? How long is all this going to take now?
I think it's going to take at least another 4 to 6 weeks, so which would bring us to the end of the year.